They kicked me out for the golden child. Now they're begging me to save them after she ruined everything. Okay, let me tell you something. Sharing this, it feels like pulling off a bandage that's fused to the skin, but I'm standing at a weird crossroads and maybe, just maybe, hearing it out loud will help. I'm 32 now, and most days, life feels pretty good, successful even. But there's this shadow, this echo from my past involving my family, the family that basically showed me the door. See, my parents, they built this construction company. Not some giant corporation, but it was ours, you know? It paid the bills, gave us a nice life, and for me, it was supposed to be my future. I practically grew up on job sites and in that office. From when I was about 10, while other kids were playing, I was learning paperwork, blueprints, dealing with grumpy contractors, smoothing things over with clients. By the time I was a teenager, I was deep in it, managing bids, handling projects. It wasn't just assumed I'd take over, it was spoken, hinted at constantly. You've got the knack for this, my dad would say. This'll be yours one day. I poured everything into that promise, shaping my life around it. Then there was Sidney. My little sister, 4 years younger, but treated like she walked on water. Sidney was the golden child, the star athlete, the straight-A student, the pretty one everyone adored. If Sidney wanted something, she got it. More makeup? Of course, sweetie, even though her vanity looked like a beauty store exploded. Me? I was the workhorse, the reliable one, always in the background. If I wanted 50 cents for the arcade, it was, sure, after you clean the entire house, top to bottom, including Sidney's room. The unfairness stung, a constant, dull ache. It wasn't that I didn't love her, but the pedestal they put her on cast a long shadow over me. When I hit 16, the talk about me inheriting the business got serious. College plans were discussed in relation to the company. It felt solid, secure. But then, things started to feel weird. My parents' focus began drifting towards Sidney, who was still in high school, studying things that had absolutely nothing to do with pouring concrete or reading zoning laws. Yet, they started talking about her potential for the business, almost as if my years of actual work meant less than her natural charm. I tried to ignore the unease, telling myself they were just proud parents, that the plan hadn't changed. How could it? The moment everything shattered is burned into my memory. A big family dinner, everyone laughing, my parents beaming. They stood up, clinking glasses, ready for an announcement about their retirement. My heart was pounding, this was it, the official word. And then they dropped the bomb. Sidney, my 14-year-old sister at the time, would officially inherit the entire company when she turned 18. Not me. Her. The air left the room. They decided this, planned this, without a single word to me, the person who'd dedicated over 8 years of her life to that place. Their explanation? Sidney was a natural leader, she had people skills, she'd figure it out. My experience, my knowledge, my loyalty? Apparently, that was just expected. Replaceable. The betrayal was absolute, a physical blow. I felt like such an idiot, believing their promises. I tried to salvage something, offered to stay on, help Sidney learn, guide her, ensure the business they built wouldn't crumble. Their response? A cold, firm no. They didn't want me involved. Sidney needed to do it her way. It was time for me, they said with sickeningly sweet smiles, to find my own path. They didn't just pass me over, they actively ejected me. So, I left. Packed my bags, moved out, and walked away from the only future I'd ever known. College felt like starting life on hard mode. I chose law, maybe subconsciously wanting something completely detached from their world. I worked multiple jobs, scraped by on student loans for housing, luckily, tuition fees were mostly covered where I live, and fought tooth and nail for every grade, every opportunity. There were so many lonely nights, fueled by cheap noodles and sheer determination to prove them wrong. But you know what? I found real friends, people who cared how my day was, who cheered my successes without an agenda. Meanwhile, Sidney took the reins at 18. The stories started trickling back, long, mental health days, extravagant spending, projects falling behind, clients getting angry. It sounded bad, but the reality? So much worse. It wasn't just incompetence. Sidney was actively stealing from the company, funneling money into her personal accounts for designer clothes, luxury trips, all the things she felt entitled to. She wasn't just running it into the ground, she was looting the wreckage. And here's the kicker, the part that still makes my blood run cold. I found out later, through a former employee who pitted me, that my parents knew. Maybe not the full extent of the theft, but they knew she was reckless, that money was vanishing, that the business was failing. They knew, and they chose to look the other way, protecting their precious golden child over their own legacy. The end wasn't slow, it was a spectacular implosion. Bankruptcy. Lawsuits. The company name dragged through the mud. Those loyal clients they'd had for 20 years? Gone. Vanished. Most of them ran straight into the arms of my parents' biggest competitors, adding insult to injury. My parents, now in their mid-60s, lost everything: the business, their savings, their reputation. They were facing a bleak retirement they never anticipated. And me? By this point, I was 27. I'd graduated 5 years earlier, passed the bar, and spent 4 years building my reputation as a criminal defense attorney. Then, I took the leap. I poured my savings, secured a loan, and started my own law firm. Bought a small building, hired brilliant friends from law school, built a website, hustled like crazy. It wasn't construction, but it was mine, built on merit and ethics, thriving. I was finally living my dream, not the one they'd assigned me. Then, the phone calls started. Tentative, awkward apologies mixed with desperation. It was my parents. They wanted help. They painted this picture of a comeback story, me, returning to the fold, resurrecting the construction company with them. And the grand prize? This time, they swore, the company would really be mine. Oh, and could I maybe lend them some money to get started? The absolute nerve. After everything? After choosing her, watching her burn it all down while seemingly enabling her, now they needed me, the black sheep, to swoop in and fix their catastrophic mess? Part of me wanted to unleash years of bitterness, but honestly, I mostly felt numb. The anger had cooled into this vast, empty space where my connection to them used to be. Going back would mean diving headfirst into that toxic swamp again, reopening wounds I'd fought so hard to close. And for what? A ruined company with a toxic reputation? Construction was never my passion anyway, it was just the cage they built for me. Law, defending people, building my own legacy, that's my passion. Helping them feels like setting fire to the life I built from their ashes. They talk about family, forgiveness, second chances. But their actions screamed abandonment and betrayal long ago. They burned that bridge themselves. Now they stand on the other side, amidst the rubble, asking me to rebuild it just so they can cross back over. So here I am, looking at my thriving law practice, my peaceful life, and then at the wreckage they want me to salvage. Do I owe them anything? After they kick me out for the sister who destroyed it all, am I wrong for wanting to just turn my back and keep walking?